Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. Right, to date, there were only two international travel engagements for this Executive Council. I'll start with the trip to Dubai, because that was made famous with a lot of misinformation. Upon entering office, we met a request to participate in the Dubai Global or International Exposition. And that was an expo that lasted in excess of 150 days. Tobago, prior to us coming into office, had already procured and sent tokens and display items to Dubai to be part of the national display there. Upon entering office, we met a request for a team of 7 officers to go to Dubai, and that would have included the then Secretary for Community Development and the Chief Secretary. The Chief Secretary was being paid for, or should have been paid for totally by the government of Dubai, and the head of BDU, she was partially paid part of her per diem, up to part of her per diem paid by the government of Dubai, and Mr. Lewis, the third person we sent, because we downsized the team and only sent 3, we were to cover his accommodation and his movement to Dubai. I have already made it public that the THA supplied the Ministry of Trade and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with the information pertaining to the 3 individuals that were expected to represent Tobago at this exposition. And that's 3 out of a contingent of 16 on that VIP list. We indicated to them very early the time period in which we wanted to travel and be in Dubai and to be part of the presentation on the 10th of March and our country day on the 11th of March. We indicated that our team needed to travel between March 4th to the 14th of March. On March 4th, no tickets, no visa was forthcoming. On March 5th, we got the visa for Mrs. Baptiste, but no ticket. On March 6th, Deputy Chief Secretary, who I delegated to attend in my place, got his visa. The Executive Council took a decision, notwithstanding the original mandate that the government of Dubai would pay for the cost. We will purchase their tickets to get across to Dubai, and the government of Dubai will take care of the rest while they are there on the ground. I can tell you, for the Deputy Chief Secretary, the cost was $96,212.63, and that's for a ticket 3 hours before the departure of the flight. So I don't need to explain to Tobagonians how those last-minute ticket costs will be. Per diem total is $31,409.63, and that is in accordance with the per diem requirements of the law. With Mrs. Baptiste, the airfare $15,594.63. For Mr. Lewis, for whom we had to pay everything except for part of the accommodation, his per diem was $31,660.91, and the ticket was $35,256. Second engagement happened between February 22nd to the 27th. to the annual Food Network and Cooking South Beach Wine and Food Festival out of Miami, Florida. And on this trip, the team held negotiations with Global X Airline. I'm surprised the Secretary did not talk about Global X. We met a prior request from Global X, and we have been able to successfully renegotiate that agreement, which will, when it materializes, result in Tobago not having to pay for any empty seats on that flight to Tobago. Additionally, they started speaking to some other small independent airlines for flights out of Germany and the Scandinavian region while there. Also from this trip, there is a preliminary agreement for there to be a twinning of FIU, Florida International University, and the Tobago Hospitality Tourism Institute. That is performance, if you ask me, to allow for some of FIU courses to be taught locally in the Tobago space. And already a second meeting was held 3 weeks ago, and that meeting 3 weeks ago was held virtually with the organizers and the sponsors of the annual Food Network and Cooking South Beach Wine and Food Festival. To do what? Guess what? To bring that festival, a similar version of that festival, to Tobago next year, given that Trinidad and Tobago is the most southerly located Caribbean island territory in the region. And the cost for that trip, we had the Deputy Chief Secretary attending, and his per diem was $29,395.50. Airfare, $10,492. The Secretary for Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, per diem $19,810. Airfare, $8,700. The advisor to the Secretary, Mrs. A.Q. Nancy's, per diem $15,260. Airfare, $3,100. The CEO of THTI, Dr. Shepard, $15,260. Airfare, $3,100. The CEO of the Tobago Festivals Commission Limited, per diem $15,260. Airfare, $3,100. And that constituted the 2 trips that this executive has made to date.